Hey everybody, Hitman from blackopsfishing.com. It's about 5 a.m. and a quick update because I try to bring you fishing every week. My son's birthday was the 25th. About the 28th, we went out on the Sunbeam for blackfish and didn't do too good. Got some shorts. I'll try to put a clip up about that. How's it been lately?
It was pretty good. It was a little slower on the last trip there. That's what.
Jeff and I went pike fishing. Thursday, and all we got was some perch, big perch on spinnerbaits. And then Josh and I went catfishing. I think it was Wednesday night, and we went to a spring-fed pond that's stocked with channel cats every year good for eating, and we got 14 of those. So that was good. Couldn't do videos because it was nighttime, and every time we lit up the area we weren't getting hits. But I can put up a clip of a cooler full of some tasty channel cats. So Josh and I are stocking up. We got a couple of brown bullheads and a bunch of nice clean channel cats. Stocking up on the fillets. Clean is the key. Spring fed. These are stocked. So in my videos lately I've been saying I want to get pike, blackfish, stripers. Man, I have only been able to go for stripers once, and I was with this clown and just didn't work out too good. Blackfish, when I had my own boat, it was sick. Inshore blackfishing, rock piles, even in the rubber boat. But this year hasn't been too good. I took my bass boat out, it got too salty. Last week I was going to go with Mikey. I was down at the ramp waiting for him, but his trailer broke down. So this week I'm going with Mikey again. Actually today, in a little while. That's why I'm up here at 5 a.m. in the morning getting ready for blackfish. Let's talk a little about blackfishing. I blackfished since I was a little kid. My mom was Portuguese. I grew up in Fall River, Mass, Rhode Island area. All my uncles, my dad, everybody, blackfish. All we do, tautog, that's what we call them over there, Rhode Island, tautog. And it's the Indian name. And squeteague also, I think that was the Indian name for weakfish. So that's what we caught. We caught blackfish, weakfish, and flatfish, flounder, like crazy. So all my life I've loved blackfishing. It's my favorite fish to eat. It's one of my favorite fish to catch. I'm really good at it, but I'm not one of those blackfish sharpies. There's so many different ways to fish for blackfish, and like I've had a 24-foot boat, and I know how to go out and find blackfish and set up on a rock pile. And the thing about blackfish is you got to be right on them. Sometimes you put out 6 or 8 feet more of scope, and you can back right up onto where the fish are. You can be in the front of the boat where a rock pile is, and guys in the back of the boat aren't catching blackfish. They're that close to the rocks usually that you've got to be right near a rock pile. So time of the year the blackfish move back inshore, and you can find them in 8, 10 feet of water all the way to 40 feet of water, but they move back in, and they become catchable for people in small boats and kayaks and things like that. So today Mikey and I are going to be fishing in the Thames River, and you can't anchor around the bridges since 9/11, so it's tricky to stay on a rock pile. We got to use our electric motors, but it's really good fishing, and hopefully it'll be good, and I'll get some good videos for you. These are the hooks I grew up fishing for blackfish. They're actually on some, I guess, rope or string, braided right on to the hook. That's a Virginia style hook. That's still a traditional blackfish hook. You'll get your these same hooks, you know, all different sizes on a mono, regular mono leader instead of this old rope style. This was my grandfather's. He gave me these, and somehow I kept one. But when I was a kid, they were like this still. This is what they're like at the bait shop. So your regular blackfish rigs that you buy pre-rigged, or your regular blackfish hooks, they're going to have Virginia style hooks on them. Maybe a red bead above the hook. And what I like to use is circle hooks, and that's like, I mean, probably the blackfish Sharpies, and you know, people would get on me for that, but I like to use circle hooks, and I can tell you why, really. Blackfish, they're down in the rocks. You got to have your crab near the bottom, your offering, your crab, clam, worm, whatever it is. But crabs are the most often used bait, so you want that right down in the rocks. But when a blackfish gets your crab, he's going to suck it in, and they get what they want out of it. And it's not probably not even a second. So traditionally, they say you got to be quick. So I use circle hooks, and the reason is I fish inshore a lot, and several years ago I was fishing next to a gentleman, and he was using 3 rods for blackfish. I think we could keep 8 blackfish then, and now we can keep 4. But he was using 3 rods. You know, you got to hold the rod, like I was saying, and this guy's using 3 rods, and his rod's doubling up. Nobody's holding it. Goes over there, he gets another one, gets another one. He was, I think he was Oriental, but he's like, circle hook, circle hook. He was talking to me, use circle hook? No. Come here, come here. So he gives me some circle hooks. So what happens, you know, with a circle hook, the fish, the blackfish especially, they get their crab and they go to spit it out right away, and they can't, because the circle hook catches them. It worked really good, so I started fishing with a couple of rods, and you can do that with a circle hook. Still like to hold the rod in my hand, and the hook, it's a little different hook set when I'm using the circle hook and I'm holding the rod in my hand. This is a lot of people jig for blackfish. It's not a new technique at all, but it comes across as a new technique because all of a sudden it you know, hit the market, and you can find a lot of people that would think, even some of the Sharpies, you know, you can't catch I had a guy looking at these, you can't catch blackfish on jigs. So I was at a sale, and I was like, okay. No, I told him, but anyways, you can catch blackfish on jigs. You put your crab on the jig and put the jig down in the rocks, and you catch blackfish on jigs. These are mine. I have made. That's a nickel hook right there, and I have a couple of styles. These aren't even available, as far as I know, in Connecticut. I had these made. This style isn't going to fall flat over like this style. And these work really good inshore. And there's your nickel hook. But I was wondering about those circle hooks. What would happen if there was a circle hook jig? So I started doing some research, and I found out circle hooks were mandatory offshore in some of the Florida area waters, the reef fishing. You have to use a circle hook because of catch and release. Called a couple of captains. Well, I called the first captain that I talked to used a circle hook, and I said, have you ever heard of a circle hook jig? Are there any circle hook jigs? Because I didn't see them when I looked online. And he said, oh yeah, we use circle hook jigs. And it's like, so how are they? Do you have to use them? Do you like using them? We actually like using them. We love using them. And one of the reasons is because tourists are coming out to fish. And if he gives them a circle hook jig, the fish is going to probably hook itself. See how the circle hook jigs I had made are. So for a tourist or somebody, the fish are going to hook themselves. So I just, I thought I'd have some of those made. I still have, both. Here's one with a smaller nickel hook. This style jig head for blackfish, and the circle hook. Nobody's got the circle hook. Nobody's got this style head either for blackfish. But that's what I was trying to do. And in my testing, so when I was testing all this, I was in my inflatable boat fishing inshore rock piles, and they were great. Everything worked. Everything worked great. I caught an 8-pound something trophy size. I got an award from the state, 8.5-pound trophy blackfish. I can probably post a picture. That's not a huge blackfish, but it's a trophy blackfish, and I caught it on my circle hook jig. So that's why I sent it into the state. So Mikey and I are fishing in a river system for the blackfish. It's in the Thames River. I'm still going with my heavy duty Shimano. I mean, even a small blackfish puts up a nice fight on this, but what if I do get an 11 or 12-pound blackfish, or even bigger? I wouldn't want to lose it, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, let's keep the sucker. This one's a keeper. Oh, dude, look at him! He's a nice. You see what he just did? Good job. Baby, they're here. Nice. Pound it. Woo! YouTubers, he's on the board.